What it do, y'all? It's your boy Bread Tuck Rob. Y'all know what it is, man. Bread Tuck Gang forever. I am Black Royalty, 11 million after taxes and all that. I'm trying something different. Baby mama got me this microphone for Christmas, so I'm trying it out, man. I know boys looking kind of crazy and weak, but I'm gonna try it out, man. I have a SoundCloud account, so I want to record this audio, put it on my SoundCloud for like my 9 followers. But y'all know what it is, man. We just putting out real content. But I want to talk about Sean Puffy Combs for a second, man. Shout out to Sean Puffy Combs. He just started the Sean Puffy Combs Fund at Howard University. And Howard is a historically black university. Shout out to him for that, number one. Number two, the money he's giving back, this $1 million is for a business scholarship. And it's to help business undergrads who need extra money. So shout out to him for that. This is why that's important, because Howard University is a black school, so he's working with the black school that he went to, which is servicing black people, and he's promoting the business standpoint of college, which I think black people need to focus more on. If we had more businesses, or more black people who own businesses, we would have a little more leeway in things. But that's for another story. But pretty much, man, shout out to Puff for that, man. Also, what I like about that is you get a internship. Once you get out of the program, you get number one, you get a mentor, you get an internship with Bad Boy or Revolt or Sean Combs or Sean John line, one of his different businesses, man. And I just think this is incredible, man, because when you just think about student loans as a whole, man, wow. You want to talk about the fastest way to get into debt. Don't get a scholarship or, go to college, just not to get too off subject, man, I would advise people, like, if you're not playing a sport in college, man, go to a community college first, man. Unless you're playing a sport or unless you have a full scholarship, go to a community college. That is what saved me. I live in Houston, Texas. I went to Houston Community College for, it's supposed to be 2 years. You go there to get your associates, but it took me 6. I was working and slacking off and all that. But bottom line, when I left, I was getting financial aid and everything. But when I left, I only owed them $1,500. And when I moved out, when I left that school, I had my own apartment, my own truck, but I was working. I had $1,500. I just wrote them a check and was like, God bless you, I owe you nothing. But, and then I went on to the university. And I think I was at $20,000 when I graduated, which is a lot of money to me. But if you take my little $20,000 and put it up against, other people's student loans, man, who went there all 4 years or went to private schools or anything, man, their loans are like 100,000, 80,000, 70,000. So I actually got off easy. The way I look at it in my mind, my $20,000 student loans is like it's like a car. That's something I could knock out. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of other people, these student loans they're going to be here for a while, a pretty long while. So what I say is, man, you have to get strategic. Now, what I will let people know, I don't know how it is outside of Texas, but in Texas, if you're a teacher, there are different student loan programs that you could go through where you can get you some student loan assistance in this matter. Get you some student loan assistance in this matter. Get you some help with these student loans. That's what you need with that, because you do not want to pay on these student loans forever. But nah, man, I say get you some, they have different programs, man. I forget the names of these programs, but if you have there are certain loans to where if you've been teaching for 5 years, in a low income school, there are loan forgiveness programs that'll knock out your student loans. Well, while you're paying, when you get to that 5 year period, they'll pay the rest. Then there are other student loan programs to where you could call them right now if you have student loans and you're a teacher, and they'll put you on a plan to where you're paying for 10 years at a discounted rate, but after that 10 years, they pay the remainder of your student loans. Now, you need to look into these programs and see if they're worth it. I'm sorry I don't have the names on me right now, but you need to look into these programs and see if they're worth it. Because, like, for a guy like me, and this is when I left, I had 20,000. I'm under that now, but I don't want to pay on 15,000 for 10 years. And the way that program even works is, for me, say I went in there with 15,000, they put me on a program to only pay 8 for 10 years. But I just don't want to be in bondage for 10 years. So I was like, I'll be all right, because really I can knock 15,000 out in 3. Depending on how I move things around and how I, go get a second job, whatever. I just don't want to be in bondage. Student loans are bondage. When you think about it, you go to college, right? You get $100,000, $80,000 worth of student loans, but you have a job making $40,000, $50,000. Unless you're like a doctor or something, but their student loans are even higher. So it's like the student loan ratio to what you're making is like, what you're making a year is totally lopsided. Then you have kids, you might have a car note. It's just all kind of things we need to think about. But before I went off on that rant, back to Puff, I just think that's incredible, man, because when you're a black man like Puff, you made a bunch of money off of the black community. It's good to give back. Puff is worth like over $600-700 million. So it's cool. What's $1 million? So I think it's very honorable that he's doing that. And I even like the fact that he started the charter school and everything. Man, Puff, I like where Puff is going, man. So shout out to him for that. Shout out to what LeBron is doing with his what is this program called? I Promise program, where if you go through this program, you get 4 years of college paid for. But it's in Cleveland. Shout out to that. Even, what I'm doing on a small scale. Last year I was able to raise, I didn't have a bunch of participants, but I just started a GoFundMe, raised a little money, and was able to give $1,200 to a young lady who's going to be attending college next year. I didn't have a bunch of participants, but I got a little money. Shout out to the people who did give. Jarvis Sam, Alicia Duran. Man, I really don't want to forget anybody. I got my boy Adam, who used to work with me at Papacitos. Who else? My boy Michael Scott and Sally Davis. And I think that's it. And then me and Baby Mama came up with the rest of it. But I'm going to do this every year, but it had to go to a black person because this is for my people, But I'm going to do this every year and give the money away in February because I just believe like black people should take care of each other. And I was thinking about starting a non-profit, but I'm like, man, I don't have to start a non-profit. Like, I could just go raise the money with my people and take care of my people. But anyway, before I go into something else, man, that's all I just wanted to speak on, man. Shout out to Puff. Shout out to my boy LeBron James, and shout out to anybody that's willing to do something for their people that promotes education. But y'all know what it is, man. This Bread Tuck Rob. Shout out to my boy Mike Scott, the Bread Tuck, the executive. 11 million after taxes. I am Black Royalty. Bread Tuck Gang forever. Y'all mucho, take it easy. God bless.